Hey folks, welcome to Tim's Off Grid. Today I'm working on installing the fender wells on the tiny house. I also want to move it back a few feet. I'm going to show you today how easy it is to move it, and then I'm also going to show you where the tires are sitting in the fender wells. You might be surprised. Stick with me. It was quite easy to move it. Didn't require a lot of effort. This is relatively flat, except for it has a slight slope from top to bottom. But in terms of forward and back, that's pretty flat. I'm going to show you where the tire's sitting in the wheel well, and this might surprise you. All right, so take a look in here. You can see we're like right about the top of the fender well. And then I had to make some slight modifications to the top of the fender well to get it to fit in here. So here's an example of fender well without modifications, not installed. Tire sitting right about here. All right, so remember that. So we have that entire height, ride height from here to here for the tire to ride upon. This is the majority of the modification I had to make, and it's because this didn't fit real well in between the two floor joists that were in there. So I cut it out, and now it's fitting better. But without cutting that out, it was never going to get in there. It's because originally I didn't design this to go in a trailer. I just thought about doing it after the fact. Now I'm going to go ahead and jack this up because I need to make a couple changes in here. I'm going to show you what this looks like when there's no load on this tire. So here we are sitting on the tire down here. How much load you have physically sitting on the tire, and then where the tire sits in the fender well. All right, that gives you an indication of how much load we have on the leaf springs, the trailer, etc., as compared to the tongue in other areas. All right, here we go. Tell me, does that not surprise you in terms of how much load we had on the tire as well as on the leaf springs? So we had about a finger's width of load going up into the fender well so far. That's not much at all. So I'd say we've done a great job in terms of how much load is on this axle and how much load is up there on the tongue, etc. So again, I'm going to take this tire back out because I got to make some more modifications in here and tighten the bolts on the wheel well or fender well. Always use your jack stands when you're working on anything like this. Don't rely on the jack. Now technically I should have removed all of these while I had it on the ground, but they're not tight. I will show you right quick how to change the socket on this VTEC impact. This is the impact that I used to mount everything to the frame. It can also be used for the jacks and for these lug nuts. So roll this rubber O-ring forward, let the silver pin drop out, take this one off. Here's one for the lug nuts. Rubber O-ring on first, slide it on. Pin in, and this O-ring holds the pin in so the socket doesn't slide off. It's fixed to it now. that's that. I also tested taking the tire off, etc., with the side plate on, and worked out fine. With the tire out of the way, I'm going to take a look at the work that I need to do in here, because I want to seal the top of the wheel well, because that's the part I cut out so everything would fit in here properly. So this was the real issue, was right here. So from about this position over to here needed to cut out. I could have left, I see now I could have left a lot of this other in here. Trial and error, right? So of the other one, I will come in here and cut these last few inches out as well as that. So I'm going to come up in here with spray foam, and I'm going to spray foam some of these areas and see how that works to seal all that in. And then I can take a knife or whatever and cut this out. But this way you'll contain any of your water, moisture, road debris within this wheel well and not up under here or up through here, etc. So inside the fender well, I rebuilt it with this Gorilla Glue tape. I just happen to have it handy, and it is it's pretty hardcore. Make sure you have cut it before you take the backing off. It's hard to cut because it's so sticky once you take that backing off. So looking for the back side, I can see that area right there that I wasn't able to get to, or didn't try hard enough to get to. So there you go. But we're over here on the other side, and now it's time to make modifications to get things to fit over here. All right, here's what I learned from last time. It's probably this stuff right here that needs to come out. And that's it. So I'm going to drill a hole so I can get started with the Sawzall in here. Well, here's how things kind of worked out. I think that there's some separation in between the foam fill material and some of these areas. But that's it. I think that'll seal the top of that where I made the cut. So that's gonna work. I'm gonna put this tire back on. So these are the final cuts I made on the driver's side. I've got some really thick like butyl tape that I'm just gonna use to seal the top of this one, and we'll go from there. So this tape is actually like roof repair tape for RVs. Super sticky, comes in this giant roll like this. That was a 50-foot roll, and I taped it top and bottom to seal where I cut. Now I'm going to push this one back up in there, and we're going to get it fastened in place and get the tire back on. And as we take a look, you can see things fit in there very well, and all of our holes are going to line up to get everything bolted into place. Didn't have to do any modifications on the front or back, and this will keep a lot of the road debris in the wheel well and not thrown up in this dead space underneath. So I think that's important. Alright, so here's how we're looking with the wheel well installed on this side. You can still get your finger in between the wheel well and the tire, of course. And this is with the trailer loaded, and we're slightly more loaded to the driver's side due to a little bit of slant right here where I have it parked. So I don't see any concerns with this. Obviously, as time goes on, we'll watch for wear patterns on the tire and see if there's any rubbing or scrubbing. But having this in here will help make sure we don't have any debris start to accumulate and start to degrade any of the wood up under here. So this was my brother's recommendation. See if we can get these fender wells back on here And that's what I've done here. So looks good. On to the next project.